Tracer Beginner Lab program. And I call it a progression because you know, Motty, that I am a classically trained music major. You remember, you were every bit as part of that music department as we were. You went to the Mud House with us. Hold on. Oh, it's Chopin, but it's arranged for violin. It's a nocturne, but it's arranged for the violin and piano accompaniment. So usually with Chopin, you'll have a beautiful melody in the upper voice, and then there'll be all these arpeggios, and but in this case, they've actually extrapolated. You like that word, extrapolated, the upper voice on the violin, and then use the accompaniment on piano, which is pretty cool. But you remember how when we were studying music, you'd start with little notes at a time, a couple notes, and then 5-note scales, and then 8-note scales, and then arpeggios, and before you'd start here, and you'd build it up like going through piano levels of a book. Well, I've drawn a parallel between that and networking. So I use that background in music. All right, go Bears! You like the shirt? SMSU forever. We're still SMSU. Prescott. Parsons, Webb, Cisco Packet Tracer, Lab. The first thing I'm going to do is one PC to one PC. Objective, learn how devices communicate, same network, 2 PCs. I've got to put in the IPs. I got to connect the PCs, assign the IPs, and ping between them. So what are we doing there? We're actually assigning the IP numbers. We can do that. I'm going to do it statically on this one because there's only 2. We have a whole bunch of them. That's DHCP is going to assign these automatically with what? A DHCP? A server, right? Okay, all right. Lab 2, 2 PCs and a switch. A switch connected to 2 PCs. 4 PCs and a switch. Switch management IP. Configure a management IP on a switch. Configure VLAN, 1 IP, and test with ping. That's where you're going to run. You think it's end, and you're going to ping, or you run your end. You're going to see if it responds. 2 networks with a router, DHCP. Objective, automatically assign IP addresses. So basically, we go from 1 to 12 in this beginner lab that I kind of designed with, with ChatGPT, but it was a good idea starting from fundamentals. And I'm going to design them. I put it in 2 categories. This one, and I thought about I'm actually going to put that into a ChatGPT and have it speak, right? I'm going to have it speak as if a boss was talking to me, as if a boss was speaking to me saying, okay, Kavanaugh, I need you to run 2 PCs on a switch. Kavanaugh, I need you to run 2 networks with a router. I want 2 switches and 2 PCs. I'm going to put it in the ChatGPT so it orally talks to me. So it's like a boss talking to me. I might even put it, this is your boss. Thank you for working for Cisco. Here's what I need you to do for your first project. Speak to me. And then it's like, okay, the boss told me to do this. How am I going to do this? Tell me that's not cool. But the other way I wanted to learn to build these networks, they say that employers like it when you have hands-on projects like this. And I'm not going to say this isn't fun, especially when you got Chopin cranking in the back. Uncle Chopin. Remember those days? The Mud House? All right. I miss you guys. I'll try to get up there this summer. Mom and I are actually going to Greece and Rome next summer. I'll send pictures. I'll heckle you guys. I will literally call you out and heckle you from the Parthenon. All right, 2 PCs and a switch. 4 PCs and a switch. Switch management, IP, 2 networks. So I've actually put it in that form. And so I'm going to start with these basic 12 and work up here. Now, the other thing I do is I use, of course, network engineering, real versus, here's one I'm going to show you. All right, because Packet Tracer is really good, but real networking is different. All right.
Go down to,
now this is what the interface, or excuse me, the program this guy's going to be working with. Here's your Packet Tracer, but he actually works. And he shows what he did. So what I did was I went in and I screenshot all this so I could learn how to read. See, I can see the IP address here. The end, I can see where it says up and down. Up means it's running, down not so much. You got your link config. You're going to configure the devices. So I'm learning how to do this. All right, router 1, that's going to be the name. Connected to R2, router 2, right? So I'm actually learning how to, I'm using the YouTube videos to go in, Lerb Lab Basics, right? And he shows you, like, how he does this. And in the beginning, he shows you how he's going to hook up the cables. Whoops.
cables in here.
Right, and this is cool because then he can show you, these are Cisco, right? He shows you what kind of cables you're using because it's a little different on
There's
Patrick.
a bunch of crossover and straight through, but really these all have auto MDIX, so a straight through will work just fine. But before we even get started with that, we need to power it on.
Power it on.
There we go. While this is booting...
By the way, that's happened to me a few times when I was trying to figure out why I couldn't get the signal going because the little triangles were red on Packet Tracer. I'm like, got to go to the back and physically switch it on. So on Packet Tracer, there's a view where you can see it. Then you go in there and you turn it on. I'm like, that's pretty fire. I do like this Cisco 1921.
Explain this section where basically I just wanted to talk about how in Packet Tracer of the difference between Packet Tracer and the actual equipment.
Packet Tracer's cool.
I bet we've all done
Ethernet,
this in Packet Tracer before.
0.
And instead of going to the actual configuration, I know I've done this a lot, we can just type in the IP address.
Your IP address. He's typing it in static.
Itself. Let's do this for example.
He's typing it in
himself,
which is static.
Flash.
Subnet mask, right? 255 or subnet.
255.255.0. And then if we look down here, we see that it is.
Let me pause that for just a second. This is what I'm working on tonight. Interface gigabit Ethernet 00 changed to administratively down. On interface changed state to down. Exit interface gigabit Ethernet address shut down.
Configuring it in the iOS commands. And then if we go over here, we can go to the same interface where we plugged it in, and then just that they just start. So let's use the red
jump
one.
ahead. I love what he's doing here.
Yeah. Here's our red one. We'll just go ahead and plug this into gig Ethernet 00. So the same.
Now you can't really see it, but it's kind of hard. Okay, you can kind of see it right there. Watch where I put my cursor. See the gig Ethernet 01, gig Ethernet 00. All right, you're going to see those on packet tracers in these digits, but he's showing you where he's running them in the back of the board. That's what we're going to need to know for the real world stuff, right? So we're going to get us close to real world networking as possibly. I subscribe to his channel. Brandon Builds the Home Lab.
And plug this into gig Ethernet 00.
Gig Ethernet 00.
So the same in Packet Tracer.
And then we run it in Packet Tracer.
And then plug the other end of it also into gig 00.
Gig 00.
And as you can see right away, they light up. We might not see this on every single router that we connect to, but it depends if they've been previously configured or if their interfaces are set baud rate to 9600. But with here, like, you have to let it boot.
There was a program.
There might be
He's running a program
just for the terminal server. As you might have seen in a previous session. So,
MOBA
go in here. New session.
Actual
serial. And then choose
devices.
You can and then pretty much setting up the commands are the exact same. Right, I'll just fast forward for this section, this interface.
So I'm seeing how he does it on this actual program.
Packet Tracer.
On the actual machine.
When we plug in.
So that's how we're going to get as close to home as we can.
Like a cable that works and everything lights up green.
Cool, right?
That means the port's working.
You're learning coding. I got to learn. You're going to love this. I got to really crank down and learn Linux and Python. Hold on. Where's my Chopin? There we go. So that's what we're doing tonight. I'm going to build some of these networks. I'll show you how that works. I enjoy doing these.